they bout to face it true and they can't show their face. Not a system don't control me, yeah, the beast is getting slayed. Austin got the power, they look sour, oh behave. But I'm about my father business, witness, he gon' get this praise. I ignore you cause it's poor, only thing that I obey. I ain't with the social distancing, but I'ma need my space. They be boring me with quarantine, so stay up in your place. When they start to hate. I'm sorry I didn't lie to you, bro. I'm sorry. I think it was cool we went to the moon too, dude. It was a cool story. I'm sorry you got triggered. Inner World Productions. What's up, everybody? Hopefully the audio is not bad. As you can see, I'm just doing it on the phone. We've had lots of issues when I do the StreamYard. So it's what we're gonna do, cuz. Where you at? We're at the RV park we stay at in Florida. I just ducked off this little spot. I might do a stream, start doing streams in the morning right here. So this stream is called First Amendment, and we're gonna get into a lot of the specifics of the First Amendment and what's going on with me regarding it. So before we get started, shout out Jacob Webb. What's up, homie? That's my homie from where I'm from. GR Cleve, Track and Trace Elites for Public Health. Flip Flat, Triply, Stephanie, Kindle. What's up, Kindle? Undoctrinated, Hack, Jeffrey, JJ Kemp. Oh, Cuddy. Oh, Jeffrey again. Army of Truth, Jason, Fred, Serious Truth. What's up, everybody? Rebel Nazarene, what's up, homie? Free speech fund, yeah, exactly. So I did a stream on Facebook, and actually I want to read off some people supported. So shout out to Bob the Legend, Bob Nodell, for sending me a donation saying thanks, Austin. Thank you, bro. Much appreciated, brother. You know I love you. And shout out to Austin Thompson from the YouTube channel Awesome Austin. He does the Melodome, and he sent me a generous donation yesterday after our stream at Daytona 500 towards a new mic, and thank you for that. And you should go check out Awesome Austin on YouTube. He's on Rockfin as well, and they ladle gravy, man. They ladle gravy. So go show my boy some love. Shout out to Wayne. Thank you, brother, for the generous donation. Much love. Nice seeing you and meeting you, and hopefully we'll kick it again soon. So there we go. We got the donations out of the way. If anyone sends any donations during the stream, I'll read it off. PayPal, Cash App. I'm going to set up a Zelle, and then I'll tell you guys how to send the money there. But there you go. Cool. So I'll read off any donations. Got that out of the way. So I did a Facebook stream yesterday, and it was called Free Speech Fund. And I started to tell people a little bit about what's going on with me. That's the only bad spot about this place. This spot is like vehicles just drive by. Some of them are really big. They'll be loud. What's up, Brian Stavely, who's obviously a legend. So yeah, I'm just gonna tell you guys what's going on. And then if you guys wanna help support it, do it. If you don't, you don't. All right, so if you don't know, I went around the United States for like a year. And it was crazy. A lot of you were there for the ride, between being arrested, assaulted, attacked, you know, parking tickets, undercover federal agents literally following us around, literally. It's been a really crazy thing. And you guys saw we're almost every major city. Because of what I'm saying, it triggers people, and the cops try to tell me I can't talk, and then I always have to stand up against them, and I always am good. But when it came to the national parks, this did not happen. And so we went to the national parks. They are called national parks. They are publicly funded, and they're notorious areas, right, for representing our freedom, like symbolizing our freedom, etc. And anyway, so I was there. I got arrested at Mount Rushmore for failure to obtain a permit for activity requiring a permit. And the dude said disorderly conduct. That's going to work out really well for you there, buddy. So anyway, then like a couple days later, we got arrested at Yellowstone. I did. And we didn't, you know, for speaking in the RV, didn't even leave the RV. So anyway, long story short, they had a federal be on the lookout out on us, which is a BOLO, for 2 individuals exercising their First Amendment. That's what the BOLO was. It's insane. This is America. Be on the lookout for 2 individuals repping their First Amendment rights. And so anyway, I don't want to, a lot of you already know a lot of it, but I'm going to tell you kind of what's going on now. So I've been MIA. I've had a lot going on, you know, we've been moving around, we got the RV, figuring out where we're going, a lot of stuff, even behind the scenes, family-wise. We're getting married on the 18th, and I'm just trying to figure everything out. And then behind the scenes, what's been going on is I've been working on these cases. I've had, since the beginning, people tell me I need to get a lawyer. I've had people tell me that I should not do it by myself. I wouldn't encourage it. It's the federal government. They have a 99% prosecution success rate, and you should get a lawyer. And I did call a constitutional lawyer at one point because it'd have to be pro bono, and they have to get all the way. What's up? Good Times for All in C. Wow, congrats, man. Thank you, man. So anyway, it's just a whole ordeal where I'm repping myself, and I've decided that that's what the Creator wants me to do. So I don't want no need for anyone to freak out. It's all good. It's all good. But I've just been, you know, neck deep in this. Sorry, I lost service over here. For a while now. And I've been writing a whole bunch of papers. Now I have some of them pulled up because I want to give you guys an idea, but I don't want to read too much of it. But anyway, just so you know, that's where I've been. And it takes a lot of time. It's actually begun to even affect me monetarily because of how much time it's taken. So, and then you gotta pay money to send in all these words, like these criminal complaints and judicial complaints and bar grievances, and that's not really expensive, but when you send like 20 of them out, you know, it's become a whole ordeal. It's been very time consuming and exhausting, but it's pretty exciting, and so I'm gonna cover what's going on, and maybe you guys will get an idea. I'm not just making up that I'm going to change the law. I am going to make them change the law. I do want to get the internet working though. So I'm going to read some of this for you guys. Now, this is actually not even the final version or anything, so I'm not too worried about it. But here in the petition for declaratory judgment, I have, by the following, petitioner will show that 36 CFR 251, which is the federal regulation. I wish I could pull it all up for you guys, but the grabblers are tripping. They don't like me showing you stuff. It lacks adequate procedural safeguards, allows for unbridled discretion, and is not narrowly tailored to serve a significant government interest. In addition to confine specified expressive activities to free speech areas or First Amendment areas, is fundamentally unconstitutional. Therefore, the regulation is subject to facial review, and the petitioner has the right to challenge the licensing scheme in entirety. Okay? Now, that's what I wrote. Now, of course, I make them establish that I have self-evident unalienable rights given to me by the Creator. And so here we go. Now, I've had people jumping on my Facebook and they're saying like, no, you don't understand. It's if you try to get the permit and they don't give it to you, that's the only way you can challenge it. You don't understand. And the truth is that people just don't know what they're talking about. This is just like the people that talk about the earth, but they don't know anything about it, right? It's no big deal. It doesn't really affect me, but I do want to address some misconceptions because a lot of people give all this power to the government. Like what? It's not a real person, dude. It's a word. So anyway, here you go. Defendant owes no obligation to adhere to an unconstitutional license scheme imposing prior restraint on free speech, rather has the right to challenge the licensing scheme on its face. Okay, so if something's facially invalid, that means it's unconstitutional on its face, as is, written, point blank, and then it can be applied unconstitutionally. Two different things. So anyway, in the context of the First Amendment, one who might have had a license for the asking may call into question the whole scheme of licensing when he is prosecuted for failure to procure it. Meaning, if someone tries to prosecute you because you don't get a free speech license, you have the right to challenge the entire licensing scheme in entirety without trying to get the license, okay? And it's obvious, that makes sense, because if there's an unconstitutional law, you don't have to follow it just because they said so. Always gonna be some naysayers. Who cares? Okay, so another one. When a licensing statute allegedly vests unbridled discretion in a government official over whether to permit or deny expressive activity, one who is subject to the law may challenge it facially without the necessity of first applying for and being denied a license. This is a Supreme Court case, as was the one above it, United States versus Atkinson. This one is City of Lakewood versus Plain Dealer Publishing Company. Again, Supreme Court. Okay. Another one. One need not apply for a benefit conditioned by a facially unconstitutional law. Shuttlesworth versus City of Birmingham. 394 U.S. 147. Okay. So, you don't have to follow an unconstitutional free speech law. You don't. You don't have to. So anyone saying you do, Audit the Audit can kick rocks. Audit the Audit is going to feel really dumb when Mr. Witsit changes the law, isn't he? And I don't know if you guys know that. Audit the Audit, like 1 million more or more subs, covers me, gives me an F, gives the cops an A on the Mount Rushmore thing. And he quotes a Supreme Court case, and it says, Mount Rushmore does not become a public park any more than it would be a mall if you classified it as non-public forum or whatever, right? Whatever he said. So, yeah, he's so dumb, or actually just dishonest. Audit the Audit, you're dishonest. If you want to come debate me about it, you would never, though. You would never. So you should. A lot of people amp this Audit the Audit guy up. Well, he obviously isn't an honest person. He has a bias towards information he doesn't like. So he talks about how he's all about First Amendment, but he's not. He's not. So anyway, he pulled that out of the, like, I'm going to destroy the dude. He's going to pull the video down or just block everyone that comments. I don't know what he's going to do, because it's going to be a really bad look for you, bro. But that's what you get. And I bet you the creator brought you in on this because of something you're doing, honestly. But anyway, you will be held accountable in general. You don't get to run around doing stuff like that. So the truth is, what's explaining is, we do not, he took out a context where it says, oh, well, just, it doesn't just change based on what you call it. A national park isn't just a park and everything's public forum in it just because it's called a park. That is what it says. And it goes on to explain that nor are the designated areas the only public forum in national parks. That's not how they're determined. First Amendment rights don't rise or fall based on an attribution, a denotation from the government as to forum status. Forum status is determined by something else. Is it publicly accessible, and does it have a history of having discourse between people? Now, I know this isn't the topic everyone will be interested in, but I think everyone should be informed on this. And so I'm just trying to break it down for you guys. Okay, so he doesn't know what he's talking. Not only does he know what he's talking about, he intentionally took a piece of the Supreme Court ruling out. Guess what that came from? It came from a ruling 36 CFR 2.51 unconstitutional on its face, and that was right after. That was actually the appeal in 2009. Before that same case, Borley versus Department of Interior, they also ruled it facially unconstitutional for saying other public grievances or other public expression of views, which is too broad because that's everything. They ruled it facially unconstitutional. Then it got appealed, and they were like, oh, it's unconstitutional, but it's not severable. It's unconstitutional in lots of ways. He picked one of them out. He's dishonest. He's dishonest. Maybe you should tag him or send it to him. You have a problem, bro. If you have any morality, right, you would make a video correcting yourself, but you will not, because I said the moon landing's fake. You're triggered that the moon landing's fake. Are you mad we didn't go to the moon, bro? Are you mad? I'm sorry that we didn't go to the moon, bro. Don't be mad at me that they lied. It's a cool story. I think it'd be cool we went to the moon too, dude. I'm sorry that you got triggered. I'm sorry you got triggered and felt the need to lie to people. If you eat, I don't get it. But anyway, they seized your property. Were you able to get back? No, I haven't gotten it back yet because the case is still ongoing. My Rushmore court date is April 14th, which is coincidentally my birthday, whatever birthdays mean. And my Yellowstone is March 7th, so coming up. But anyway, that's not the point. Like, even if they find me guilty, let me give you an example. In this same regulation for national parks and free speech, someone was found guilty and convicted, and then it went to appeals, and it got completely turned over. Their convictions got turned over. The entire law got thrown out. So I'm sure a lot of people will take their victory lap if they find me guilty. The system's super corrupt, man. So let's be real here. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. They're probably going to throw it out, and then I will file a civil lawsuit. And I know they watch my YouTube, so yeah, that's right. You know, I don't care. I'm going to be filing a civil lawsuit. Have you lost a tooth in the front? Yeah, when I was like 11, my tooth got chipped in the front. That's right. I'm actually getting it fixed in a couple of days, though. So that seems like a non sequitur comment there, buddy. Anyway, so I'm trying to explain to you guys what's going on here, okay? We're going to change the law. It's facially unconstitutional, okay? I'm just going to read the law for you guys. How about we do that? I want you guys to see the reason this is important is because what I was talking about will be included in the decision. That's right. It's in the background, the first part of a Supreme Court decision. It gives you the background. That means that if I make them change this law, forever it will be, you know, Witsit versus whoever I decide to sue. National Park Services, Department of Interior, you know, Witsit versus them. And it will literally explain, he was talking about how masks are dumb, the government doesn't get to take over, etc. That will be infamously ingrained in the Supreme Court decision. Okay, what people don't know is Congress is supposed to be the one that makes laws. The First Amendment says Congress shall make no law doing this and this and this, talking about the First Amendment. What's happened is Congress has given their power over, they've delegated their legislative power over to everyone, including federal agencies, in this case, the National Park Services. So what they've said is the National Park Services can make up rules and make up regulations. And then if someone challenges it as unconstitutional, once you prosecute them, then we can overturn it. So it's basically allowed to run rampant until someone has the balls to stand up and not take pleas and challenge it on its face. And it very rarely happens. Every time it happens, just about every time it happens, it gets thrown out because no Supreme Court judge is going to stake their reputation on this unconstitutional law, right? So that's the whole trick, is they get everyone saying stuff that, like what people have been saying to me, oh, you're going to lose. I said, no, you're so screwed. Oh, man. Because you're just a bunch of cowards that probably watch a bunch of porn. And so this is why they get away with it. It's very simple. It's not confusing. People think we should burn the system down. No, we should not. You don't seem to realize that we are way too dependent on the system. The system still needs to be here right now until we can build independent supply chains. And we can't do that really fast. We need time. So we do need a system. The system instills order. See, the actual order that's put in place is a good thing. They abuse it. So you have to learn how to use it. The whole trick is to get you to think you can't use it, to be scared, to listen to people like Audit the Audit, who's probably 5'8" and watches tons of porn and would never debate me face to face and probably will just delete his little video afterwards and never admit he was wrong. Listen to people like that guy. Be scared, whatever, right? Because then they get away with just giving their powers to everyone. They run around making all kinds of laws. If you don't stand up pretty soon, you're probably going to regret it. It's going to be much worse than them not letting me talk in a national park. But here's what it reads, okay? Now, I want to remind you, it was declared unconstitutional on its face because it said, and other public expressions of views. And they were like, that's too broad. Now, then the next court, they threw it out for all kinds of reasons, okay? Here's what it reads now, after they had to change it. Here's what it reads now. Anything declared a demonstration is not allowed. Now, it used to say, period, in free speech zone or not free speech zone, you have to get a permit, even individuals. The Supreme Court was like, no, that's incredibly unconstitutional. For one, it removes spontaneous speech. So if you want to spontaneously speak out against something as a free person, you have the right to do that. If you have to go ask daddy government for permission and they can wait 10 days, you don't have spontaneous speech. There are numerous Supreme Court cases that explain, certainly like in regards to political speech, it's rendered useless if you can't be heard right whenever it needs to happen. Oftentimes speech needs to be heard right then to even have any value. This is unconstitutional. You can't do that. Now, the idea is that with a group, they can't have spontaneous speech. It's a group, and they already have to plan for everyone to meet on this day, and so a permit is just one more aspect of it. When it comes to individuals, though, there's no justification for making someone get a permit before they speak. So they had to change their rules and make a a single person or small group exemption, okay? That's why it says that now. Now, still, if you do any type of thing that's called a demonstration, right, then it has to be in the free speech zone if you're an individual or small group. And if it's not, if you're more than that, if you're more than 25 people, you have to get a permit regardless. And so basically, if you're outside the free speech zone, you can't do a demonstration. So what that means is they're saying that only the free speech zones are public forum. But the Supreme Court told them That is not true. You don't get to choose that. There are many public forums and national parks that are not designated as free speech areas. What do you got to say about that, Audit the Audit? You must have not read the Supreme Court case. You must have skipped over the most important part. It seems like you might have downs, bro. So anyway, here's how you define demonstrations. In this 36 CFR 2.51, section 2.51. So demonstrations. The term demonstrations includes demonstrations, picketing, speech making, marching, holding vigils, or religious services, and all other, this is the key part. Think about how unconstitutional this is. And all other like forms of conduct that involve the communication or expression of views or grievances engaged in by one or more persons, the conduct of which is reasonably likely to attract a crowd or onlookers. Why don't you just say the First Amendment, bro? Why don't you just quote the First Amendment? You're weird. All other expressions of view, just say the First Amendment. Just say you can't have the First Amendment here. It's a joke. It got worse. It got broader. It covers everything now. And this shows you how disgusting our federal government is. They were slapped on the wrist and told you, this is unconstitutional, you better stop. They're like, okay, let's put out an interim rule and we'll work on a final rule and we'll get it out. And now their final rule is worse. It's even worse. It covers literally everything. And if you're one of the people that go around talking about how I should have been arrested, you don't seem to understand that you're supporting them saying that literally the whole First Amendment's illegal unless they give you permission. And no, they don't get to go put you in the corner. Now, I know that I probably never leaves his house. Well, I went to all kinds of national parks, and guess what happened? I found out that the free speech zones are intentionally set up so you can't be heard, right? So it's in the middle of the woods. It's never where everyone is. It's literally in the middle of the woods most of the time where no one is. There's like some little place to do a speech there that's real small, and you can tell that, like, I don't know, a park ranger goes and teaches Boy Scouts there once a month or something in the woods, okay? But no one's ever there. They don't get to tell you that you have to go into the woods where no one is, and that's the only place you can freely speak. And anyone that supports it's a psychopath. So anyway, very simply, I'm going to be challenging the constitutionality of this law. And then as applied, it's even worse. So what that means is I'm challenging on its face. It's not about me. It's just on its face, it's wrong. If it's wrong, obviously anything they've brought against me can't be upheld. You can't uphold it, right? But it's even more than that, right? Because when you apply it to me, it's even worse. Let me give you an example. And Yellowstone, literally, I didn't stream at all on Yellowstone. I did nothing. I did not mention my YouTube, nothing. In the police report, in the summary at the beginning, it literally lists my YouTube channel. It says WitsitGetsIt and puts the link underneath it on YouTube. Does this sound like something? The federal government is literally communicating between each other saying, this is Austin Witsit. Here's his YouTube channel. Don't let him freely speak. Literally, that's what happened. Literally. And in the police report, what it says is, and he was talking about masks and the word I can't say and other anti-government sentiments. Oh, so the government can write, oh, this guy's talking about anti-government things, go arrest him. And then they get away with it, and we have people that pretend like they're all about the freedom and holding the government accountable, saying that they were getting an A for that. It's because you're a cuck, bro. I don't know the other word to use. So anyway, it's taken a lot of time because when you look into a Supreme Court case, it quotes 20 other Supreme Court cases, and you got to go read those Supreme Court cases, and they have each specific points, and you find out that there's a historical sequence of events that have led to the current understanding of those definitions, right? So you got to keep going and keep going and keep going, and dude, it's been around the clock, guys. Like I've been really putting in a lot of time, and so it's kind of put me in this weird situation, and it's just now getting started. The fight's just about to start. So that's why I told everyone the idea of like a free speech fund, where if you want to support my fight against it, then feel free to do so. It'd be much appreciated. If you can't, you can't, and it doesn't just have to be money. If you think you have good ideas or something like that, hit me up. But we need to come together around this, and it's not because it's me. It's because it's a huge deal. And I can tell you that the creator did it. The creator did do it. The way I know the creator did it is because the last person that got caught, that changed all the rules for everyone, that got in trouble, he was talking about the creator. He was handing out gospel tracts in the free speech zone, They told him he couldn't do it without a permit. Then he tried to get a permit. They wouldn't give it to him. Then he filed a lawsuit. So then they gave him the permit. And then he ended up winning the lawsuit because it was declared unconstitutional on its face. Now, he did not even challenge the free speech zones. And the Supreme Court says, fortunately for us, we don't have to declare the forum status of all 391 national parks, which we certainly probably could not. It's a fact-intensive individual, basis that you have to make that determination because he didn't challenge it. But to clarify, for the record, we are not claiming that they're constitutional. They are not. So it seems that the audit has reading comprehension skills, and I'm not like upset with this guy. I'm bringing him up because he represents the people that want to pretend that they understand the law, that want to pretend they understand the First Amendment, that they stand up for it, but want to bash me because they don't like how I deliver what I deliver. They don't like how like assertive or what they would call aggressive I am. They don't like my content. Well, luckily for us, you're not allowed to censor speech based on content, okay? So that's not how this works. You don't get to speak. The fact that they were so hyper-focused on what I was saying in the police report shows you they were censoring based on content. That is illegal, for obvious reasons, right? Maybe we need to really cover the basics. You can't have content-based prior restraint on free speech. Why? Because an official could be like, I don't like that he's saying the moon landing's fake. I love my mask. My wife beats me at home and I like to wear my mask. I don't want to hear him talk about the mask. Officials don't get to determine if you're allowed to talk because they don't like what you're saying. Do you understand? So it's called content-based. So they have to be content neutral, okay? Because if they're not content neutral, it's basically a totalitarian government where the officials get to do whatever they want to, okay? So it has to be content neutral. Now, this is what's important. It's called a time, place, and manner restriction on speech, meaning that the rules are evenly applied to everyone, right? You can only talk here at certain times. You can only talk, you can't do it like this or whatever. And they said if it's a time, place, and manner restriction, which is content neutral, then it has to be narrowly tailored to serve a government interest, significant government interest. That means it has to just cover what it absolutely has to, what is mandatory to acquire the significant government interest. You mean like literally every single aspect of the First Amendment? Literally the whole entire First Amendment? That seems really narrowly tailored, doesn't it? Doesn't it? So anyway, it has to have adequate procedural safeguards, meaning it has to have like a certain policy of procedure in place to prevent any type of official, censoring speech based on any bias, favoring or disfavoring the speech, okay? So this is clearly not narrowly tailored and it's clearly overly broad, and it allows the official to do whatever they want to, and it allows the official to censor speech based on its content while maintaining the appearance or illusion of content neutrality. So if you understand what I'm saying, the game is so crazy what they're doing to us, and the game is won because no one knows any of this. And to be fair, I didn't really know much of it. No one has the balls to take any action. Let me give you an example. There's always the people, bro. There will be people on this comment section guaranteed that will talk about how they know I'll get arrested. They'll talk about how I don't know what I'm talking about. They'll call me a sovereign citizen, whatever they'll call me, okay? But the truth is, they're irrelevant, okay? I'm talking to those of you who maybe actually do things, right? Because doers do stuff people talk about, nothing to argue about, right? Like you just do things or you don't, okay? Some of us do things. And one of them is Randy Kelton from Rule of Law Radio, okay? And he filed criminal complaints against the governor of Texas for the mask mandate. They repealed the mask mandate in Texas, and then he called his buddy and they repealed the mask mandate for 20 other states. One person out of 29 million people in Texas, no one else did it. They got to run around with their mask mandate this whole time. Then one person out of 29 million was informed enough to know how to file court documents and knew how to actually present the argument, right? And the governor was like, basically, they got us, repeal it. He called his little Republican buddies, repeal your mask mandate. One person out of 29 million got 20 mask mandates, 20 states to remove their mask mandates. Oh no, you can never do it. The same people that are going to tell me I can't do it would be the same people that would have been like, Randy Kelton will never do it. Well, he did it, buddy. And the news didn't tell you that, did they? No, we have Texans running around talking about Texas stood up for our freedom. And no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Your governor was forced by threat of literally criminal charges. That's the only reason that he stopped. They're all corrupt, including your Texas governor, including the Florida governor. They're all corrupt, They're all corrupt. But they do have to keep this political appearance up because they want to. So that's why I'm going to send this case into DeSantis because I'm in Florida. I'm going to send it to the South Dakota governor because she's the only one that didn't shut down because everyone else was scared of the air. She didn't shut her country down. I'm like, you're going to let me get arrested for free speech talking about how stupid lockdowns are in your state? I'm going to send it to her because once you start to get the political pressure, Randy Kelton always says this, it's very naive to think that you will win a case just because you have the facts and the law on your side. It's all about politics, and politics is local. So anyway, I know not everyone is interested in this, but I want to make it where it's a digestible thing we can all start to learn together. I think that the creator is like basically put me in this position because that's what he wants me to do. And that's what I'm going to do. So it's been a lot. Like, it's been a lot because if you know if you kind of know how I am, like I go 0 to 100. I found about magnetism, 0 to 100. Found out about the earth, 0 to 100. So when I found out about this, I've just been going kind of crazy, and it's been like mentally exhausting, and it's a lot. And it can be overwhelming to someone, but I want to just get the basics out to people. So I encourage you to go listen to Rule of Law Radio, for example. But and then I want to be the person that you can reach out to, and I'll help you out. And you know, I'm not like I'm going to charge you money. I want us to take our power back, bro. You don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to pay your income tax. You don't have to pay sales tax. You don't have to pay property tax. You don't have to have a driver's license. You don't have to do anything that they say. You don't. It's a fact. You don't. Yes, you do. No, you literally don't. You don't know what you're talking about. No one cares what you're talking about. Maybe you're famous. I know some people that are in the truth community that are pretty famous, and they're like, oh, you got to pay your taxes. I always pay my taxes. You actually don't have to pay your taxes, and no one cares what you're talking about. And just because you're scared that you're in a highlighted position and that you think that they might come after you because you don't pay your taxes, it's not our problem. Stop telling other people they have to pay their taxes. No, they don't. See, let me explain something to you about the taxes, okay? This is how it started. The government was told, you have a job now to go and try to raise money from the people for certain public services. You must convince them that it's actually worthy of their input. They did not say you get to force them to take their money, you force them to give you money, and you spend it however you want to. You get to choose if you give them money based on the specific thing they say they're raising money for. Oh, you must have forgot about that part. Oh, you're probably gonna get triggered and just not respond. It's like, I've never been so disappointed in the truther community because so many people are black pill losers when it comes to this. It's like, bro. Anyway, let me just show you some of the stuff I'm running. Let's see if maybe audit the audit, you can offer some sufficient rebuttals to what I've typed up. Since you're so smart and I'm so stupid. Let's see if maybe you can help me out here. Let me come on down. Come on down. Actually, for one, so one of my sections is history of facial invalidity. So let's read it. Audit the audit, you must not know how to read, so I'll read it. This is the most recent one, Borley versus the U.S. Department of the Interior, okay? It is unlawful to engage in expressive activities within any of this country's 391 national parks unless a park official first issues a permit authorizing the activity. This is the Supreme Court now. Michael Borley argues this licensing scheme is overbroad and therefore unconstitutional on its face. We agree. The regulations in their current form are antithetical to the core First Amendment principle that restrictions on free speech in a public forum may be valid only if narrowly tailored. Because these regulations penalize a substantial amount of speech that does not impinge on the government's interests, we find them overbroad and therefore we reverse the district court. Praise be to Yah. Much love, America's Silver Patriot. Thank you for the support. Requiring individuals and small groups to obtain permits before engaging in expressive activities within designated free speech areas and other public forums within national parks violates the First Amendment. Neither party has argued that we should sever the regulations in order to leave part of them intact, and we perceive no basis for doing so. And of course, it is the prerogative of the agency or Congress to decide whether to rewrite the regulations to apply only to large groups and to decide where to draw that line. We have no choice but to hold the regulations unconstitutional in their entirety. Accordingly, the judgment of the district court is reversed. Now, Audit the Audit picks something out of this court case. He's that dishonest. Everyone should expose this dude because he has millions of viewers, okay? I've only got hundreds of thousands of views 2 times. This dude and Simon Dan. That's the only time the internet will let me get views is when I'm being destroyed, like when I'm being attacked. That's it. It'll never happen. We've done plenty of stuff to glitch the Matrix out. They won't let it happen. We went to the freaking NBA Finals, bro. Like, we're the one person with a speaker at the NBA Finals. So, anyway, check. So this is the point that's important right here. requiring individuals and small groups to obtain permits before engaging in expressive activities within designated free speech areas and other public forums within national parks violates the First Amendment. That says that not just the free speech areas are First Amendment areas. Maybe you don't understand, Audit the Audit. It says there are other public forums outside of the free speech areas, and even the Supreme Court puts it in quotes. He puts it in quotes because he knows it's a stupid term. I was a fan of Audit the Audit before this. Yeah, I didn't know anything about him. All I know is I challenge him to a debate. He won't debate me. He will never debate me. I challenge you on a debate on your video for this right here. I challenge. I see a cash up there. I'll read the donations here in a second. I'll periodically read them. I don't want you guys to think I'm forgetting. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Rich Bagley. Much love, bro. Benton, thank you for the super chat. Much love, brother. Someone's gonna get triggered, say that was satanic, but okay. Who is an individual? Words have meaning. An individual. It's not complicated. You have individuals, and then you have groups of people. That's what I was talking about. Anyway, all right. So here's what I've written. 36 CFR 2, Section 251 lacks adequate procedural safeguards allowing for unbridled discretion. Is not narrowly tailored to serve a significant government interest. In addition, to confine specified expressive activities to free speech areas of First Amendment areas is fundamentally unconstitutional. Oh, well, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me, seeing as how we just now saw the Supreme Court agrees with me. But anyway, Audit the Audit, maybe you should go be on the Supreme Court since you know more than them, but you praise them simultaneously. Content neutrality. This is the first section. In assessing the constitutionality of a prior restraint, I don't want to get too dry for you guys, but I think this is important because you have to understand, if you don't have the ability to freely say things, then they are controlling your thoughts as well. You need to understand that. Controlling speech isn't just about controlling speech. It's about controlling your brain. You can't freely speak. That's the whole point. I need to find a charger for the iPad. Like Owen Benjamin talks about this a lot, and he's so on point with it. Like he's not scared to say certain words because he says once you let them, it's not like he has an infatuation with the word necessarily. It's that if you allow them to tell you what words you can say, then that means that they're controlling your thoughts. And he's right. Because you have to think to say things. So they're controlling your natural progression of thoughts and limiting it. No, I'll pass. The First Amendment is the most important one. It's the most important one. Not that we need the First Amendment to have the right. No, it's that if we don't have the rights, then we're screwed. It's pretty simple. That means you become a brainwashed slave. So it doesn't matter if you think the moon landing's real because you must, I don't even know, drink coffee with LSD in it every morning or something. I don't know why you would think the moon landing's real. But whatever, we just call it boomer syndrome around here, let it go, bro. Super weird. But even if the moon landing was real and fairies fly or whatever, and I said it wasn't real, I still have the right to say that. You don't get to tell me I can't say it because you don't like it. Even if the moon landing was real. Which is literally impossible that it's real. Let it go. Let it go. Audit the Audit. Let it go, buddy. Let it go. You're goofy. So, anyway, I'm going to read some of it. This is the stuff that I've typed. Okay. Well, here I'm quoting that Supreme Court case. And I say, in assessing the constitutionality of a prior restraint, it must be determined at the outset whether the regulation is content-based or content-neutral, right? Which I explained to you a second ago, right? You can't censor based on content. This determination is critical, not because it may end the inquiry, but because it will direct its path, because it's supposed to be much more strict if it's not content-neutral. Here, the NPS regulations are indisputably content-neutral on their face. They prohibit certain forms of expressive conduct, regardless of the message the speaker wishes to convey. Now, that was the case in 2010, but check this out. This is what I typed. However, the regulation now defines demonstrations as forms of conduct that involve the communication or expression of views or grievances. A grievance is an expression of discontent, a type of expression based on its substance. Thus, the phrase "or grievances" is a content-based restraint. Regulatory schemes conditioning expression on a licensing body's prior approval of content present peculiar dangers to constitutionally protected speech and require extraordinary procedural safeguards in order to survive constitutional scrutiny. And that is Thomas quoting Freedman versus Maryland. The authors of the Constitution emphasize the importance of not only the ability to express grievances, but to petition the government for a redress of those grievances. Any permanent scheme controlling the time, place, and manner of speech must not be based on the content of the message. That is Forsyth County versus Nationalist Movement. So this is my opinions, and then I'm quoting them in there. Not only does the regulation contain content-based parameters, but it also implicates the most fundamental type of expressive content ensured by the Constitution to protect against government corruption and overreach. The claim that the government, holding discretionary power of prior approval, can restrict expressive grievances from being heard in public national parks based upon the unfettered discretion of where the grievances are allowed to be heard due to the fact it is a grievance is constitutionally abhorrent. That I know that's how you have to, like, that's how you type it. So I know it seems a lot, but like, the claim that the government holding discretionary power of prior approval, meaning it's on their discretion whether they approve you beforehand or not, can restrict expressive grievances from being heard in a public national park based upon the unfettered discretion of where the grievances are allowed to be heard, the free speech areas, due to the fact it's a grievance, which is a type of speech, right? A grievance is discontent. It's a type of speech. Is constitutionally abhorrent. Okay, that's the first part. I'm telling you, though, I'm just letting you guys know, like, I am going to change the law. I don't know. I don't know if you guys think that's crazy. I know that they're either going to, I don't know what they can do. Because if the judge is going to see like, he has to respond to it. Now, they may throw out my criminal charge, but it's going to still be in court. It's still going to be in court. So it's like, bro, I don't think, that's why I don't care what people say. Like, I think you lost and you're the guy to do it. Thank you, man. Without the Second Amendment, we don't have the First Amendment. Yeah, of course. But the First Amendment's like the most important. You can't even think for yourself without it. So, let's see here. Procedural safeguards. Infringement upon the First Amendment does not escape constitutional scrutiny simply because the infringement is evenly applied. I do know this is a little bit higher level stream, but whatever. A regulatory scheme lacking adequate procedural safeguards allow for content-based censorship under the guise of content neutrality, offering a protective shield of ambiguity to the official applying the scheme. Can you rebut it? Hey, Mr. Odd Theotic, can you rebut that? You can't. You can't rebut it, bud. I'll skip the quote from the Supreme Court that just supports me. Thus, such schemes must contain adequate standards to guide the official's decision and render it subject to official judicial review, thereby eliminating the risk that he will favor or disfavor speech based on its content. Now, I'm not going to go too into the weeds with this. I'm just trying to show you guys. I'm trying to explain to you, give you context of why I've been MIA. Okay? Here's my my little conclusion part of this section. Content-neutral licensing schemes require adequate procedural safeguards in order to prevent an official from implementing content-based restraint on speech while maintaining the appearance of content neutrality. And dude, I experienced it live. I know that's what they do. I know that's what they do. Because when I'm talking about what I talk about, it triggers people just like I thought it got triggered. So they want to come censor me. They want to come censor me because of what I'm saying. I know it for a fact. I experienced it. But he just gets to say, I don't care what you're talking about, because he gets this huge window of getting to censor whoever he wants to, because the whole First Amendment's covered. So anybody who wants to censor, he can censor, and he doesn't even have to claim it's because of the content. So it gives him a protective shield of ambiguity to abuse people's rights. It's very simple. And that's what they did, bro. That's what they did. So prior restraint license scheme, blah, blah, blah. Schemes allowing avenues for officials to censor speech based upon favoring or disfavoring the content are repugnant to the Constitution, and any law repugnant to the Constitution is void. Facts, I love you. Thank you for the support. Much love. I'll read some of the stuff people sent here in just a second. So I'm not gonna read all this, because I'm definitely gonna read the home run parts of it. But I think you're starting to get an idea. I just want you guys to, maybe I can just show you. I think it's actually not gonna show you though. Okay, just want you to see. This is one of the papers. Just so you know. So that's just one thing, you know. So it's been getting crazy out here. All right, So anyway, I'm just gonna start talking to you guys. Okay, just so you know, I'm gonna change the law. It takes a lot of time. They're gonna try to intimidate me. They've already tried to intimidate me. They won't answer my phone calls. They put me off. They wanna make me feel like I'm running out of time. They're freaking out. And like, they're trying to like scare me, intimidate me, talk about, you better come in here. They literally, if you guys don't know, so when I went to Yellowstone and got arrested, what happened was we were sitting at a parking lot. We pulled into a gas station because we needed gas. So we pulled into the gas station. We saw the price of gas in Yellowstone National Park was almost like $2 higher, or like $1.50 higher than everywhere else. Well, in an RV, that's a big deal. That's like $150. So we were like, we're not gonna pay an extra $150, we're fine. So we went to leave. Well, we couldn't leave because a car had blocked us in. So we literally went to get gas, saw the price was too much, wanted to leave. Cars had blocked us in. We couldn't get out. So we sit there, and this girl's walking around. She's obviously genetically modified, just like in a daze, okay? Taking forever, and she's clearly feeling her tank, so we're like, oh man. So Chris is like, it doesn't matter. So I decided to I started telling people that, you don't actually have to wear that mask, and this is one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. It's a 2 million acre national park that's beautiful. Let your children enjoy it. They don't have to wear that mask. The government doesn't get to tell you that we get to come to the place that we own and that we're not allowed to breathe here. Obviously that one lady got really triggered, and I saw her noticeably get triggered, and she called. We had a couple walk up to us and say, we wanted to thank you for what you're doing. And we said, oh, no problem. And just so you know, this girl over here is freaking out. She just brought me over here and said, she said, I'm tired of, or like, basically, don't you think it's so ridiculous what he's doing and all this stuff? And the guy was like, no, I don't. I actually agree with him, and I agree with his right to say it. So she got really mad because the person that was there, she was trying to like talk to about how wrong what I was doing was, agreed with me, and actually came up with his wife and talked to me and said thank you. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And so once the girl was out of the way, we left. Like, we were only talking to people because we were trapped there. Now, the police report says we pulled in and intentionally blocked everyone from leaving for 15 minutes. Did not get any gas. Was not there to get anything, just to block everyone in. And then at the end, we were like, oh, we're not getting a rise out of anyone, so we left. That's what the police report says. It's blatantly a lie. It's blatantly a lie. And if you support that, then you definitely shouldn't be on this channel. You shouldn't even have the rights given to you in America. You don't deserve them. Because, America doesn't give us the rights. The Creator did. All the Constitution does is try to explain some of them. That's all it is. It tries to articulate the basic ones. It's not that we get our rights from the Constitution. Okay, that's not what it is. So anyway, so we finally pull out because we're not being blocked in. They pulled like a couple miles down the street. They pull us over. And then they say that, blah, blah, blah. We needed a permit to do that. Any First Amendment activity in the park requires a permit. And I said, oh, and you have to go to your little free speech areas? And you said, no, even that requires a permit. That's what he said. Now, he actually misquoted the regulation, even though it's unconstitutional on its face. So as applied to me individually, it's really bad for them. It's really bad for them. So anyway, I emailed them and I said, I called them. I said, look, we're already hundreds of miles away. Is there a way we can do like a video conference or something? Now, this is where, prior to me going, I could have challenged personal jurisdiction, right? And they kind of accept it once you appear in court voluntarily that you're waiving your personal jurisdiction challenge. So I think it's good for everyone to understand that. You don't have to adhere to the rules. You don't have to go to their court. You send an affidavit, say you don't have to. I also want you to know that I am doing something different with this situation because I want to beat them at their own game and change the law. And a lot of people say it's naive, and it does put me in a more vulnerable position, but it is what it is. I also didn't know quite as much, and so I didn't want a federal arrest warrant out for me, as petty as the charge is. And I did know that you don't have to follow unconstitutional laws, but I just know the government does whatever they want to. I've experienced it enough. I've been put in handcuffs, and then someone put a mask on me laughing in my face. So I know that the government's allowed to get away with whatever they want. So I wasn't really trying to play that game. Anyway, so they don't, she said, okay, send in this paper and I'll let you know. And we'll let you know if it's approved. I'm like, okay. So send in the paper, get no response. And we have to be there hundreds of miles away for court at like 8 in the morning. or like 9 in the morning. So we just drove hundreds of miles because we didn't have a choice. Either just hope they do approve it or maybe have a warrant, right? So we drove hundreds of miles in an RV, cost lots of money to get to court. We get there, I go in, she tells me I have to wear a mask. And I'm like, no, I don't wear masks. So anyway, she's like, you have to wear a mask. And I'm like, no, I don't. That's not lawful or constitutional. And in addition, even within your unconstitutional rules and regulations, it allows for exemptions, for medical exemptions and sincerely held religious beliefs. So no, I actually don't. That's what your own federal regulations say. I read them on the way here. She said, I don't care about your religious or medical exemptions. I've seen your YouTube. I know your MO. You're gonna wear that mask and you're gonna go in there or you're gonna go to jail. Really? Really, lady? I said, I'm not wearing the mask. I'm not wearing a mask. So then she walks away, she comes back, she's like, okay, you can go. Oh, and I forgot this part of the story, right? So when we get there, I received the email saying I can appear on video like 10 minutes before the court date. They send it 10 minutes before the time of the court date. So obviously they did it on purpose. I had to drive there because how would I know? They didn't tell me I didn't have to come until 10 minutes before. So anyway, she comes back, she's like, you can just go out and do the video conference like we approved in your truck in the parking lot then, if you're not gonna wear a mask. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you, right? I was like, okay, you're being really ridiculous. But when she said that, I tried to be nice to her. So I went out there, I got in the truck, I start the video conference, and then I hear the judge talking on video, and they're like kind of whispering to each other. And clearly the girl's really mad and triggered that she wasn't able to bully me around. So she goes and like whines to the judge. And so the judge is like, okay, go tell him, and this is what I can hear. I hear him say, go tell him well, then you want to go get him and tell him that if he doesn't come in here, he'll be arrested. So then they come out, court marshals with guns on their hips, you know, like literally one dude has his hand on his gun, like he's hard or something, you know. He's not hard. He just has a pistol, bro, with his hand on it. Anyway, they surround me and they start telling me that I have to go there. Now, of course, they're not using body cams. As soon as I told Chris, because they're just being so insane, I'm like, Chris, we record this. As soon as they pulled the camera out, they just took off. I'm like, a warrant. She's like, look, with the people surrounding me, either you're going to come in here and put on a mask or we're going to work on an arrest warrant. That's where we're at. I'm like, an arrest warrant for what? She's like, no, you're not putting me on YouTube. I'm not doing this whole thing. I'm like, what? Like an arrest warrant for what? And she just like repeats herself and then walks away in the middle of me trying to get clarity. Like, what would the arrest warrant be for? You just told me I could come out here. Now you're telling me I can't. And the judge signed approval that I could do it on video. Now you're saying I can't. But now you're saying that if I don't come in there with a mask, you're gonna arrest me, but you're not telling me for what. And then she just walks away. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I really didn't want to get arrested, guys. I didn't want to deal with it anymore. And I don't think you guys realize that I allow myself in these positions where I get arrested, and I feel like I'm trying to help out everyone else. That's how I feel. Like, I'm not trying to virtue signal or anything, but it's just a lot, right? Because then I have all the people just, ha, 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 you got arrested again, ha, ha, ha. They're not flat earthers. Like, you're making flat earth look bad. And it's like, you know, and it's costing me thousands of dollars to do it. And it's just like, it gets really exhausting. And I didn't want to go to jail, man. I didn't want to go to jail. Let the man speak. Yeah, for real, man. Thank you for the support, brother. So anyway, one of the guys we met in there, he comes in and he's like, they're literally working on coming out here to arrest you right now. And I'm like, what? And I hear them talking about it. So I'm like, okay, I have to go in. So I have to go in. So I walk back up to the front, and the guy won't let me in. He's like, let me see your ID. I'm like, I've already been in here. He's like, they're just toying with me. They're literally just trying to toy with me because she went and told everyone about how my YouTube and how I just do this for attention and this is my MO and I want to have these reactions. So they're all like picking on me, you know? And the truth is, no, I literally got pulled over by you psychopaths going through the park. No one was trying to get any type of reaction from you. You're dumb. Quite literally, most of you are actually dumb. But anyway, so I finally get in there. I have to give him my ID again. And it's not a big deal. It's just like the principal, right? Like, he's smirking in my face, like, give me your ID again. I'm like, bro. Anyway, I was like, I'm just in here. So, like, literally 5 minutes ago, I go in there, then they make me put on the mask. The mask is like this big. And I hate to even say these words, but I put on a mask. And then I go in there And I let him know that this is like coercion, and that I'm only in here because I'm under duress. You're threatening to arrest me. This is unconstitutional. Blah blah blah. I tell him, Coons versus New York, prior restraint cannot be used, or a permit cannot be used as prior restraint on free speech. 8-1 Supreme Court said. He's like, well, that's not exactly what it said. I'm like, that's what it said. So you could tell the judge was immediately kind of like taken back, like, oh wow, I didn't realize this guy actually knew anything. And he ends up apologizing, or like not apologizing, but saying thank you for, I know you didn't want to do that. Thank you for coming in here and doing that. Okay, you sent court marshals out there with guns and made me wear a mask, bro. You forced me to wear a mask, or you were going to arrest me. And by the way, just so you guys know, I would have got arrested. The problem is I would have gone there and then they would have forced the mask on me anyway. They would have put me in handcuffs and then laughed in your face and put the mask on you. So like, to prevent that, I was gonna have to, a mask was gonna be on me anyway. Only with that, it's like, it actually does suck. You're like handcuffed. You start feeling claustrophobic. It's ridiculous. So like, I just went in there and did it. So anyway, there you go. There's how that worked. And since then, now I have the court date on the 7th. And I'm obviously not wanting to go in person and wear a mask. And I'm not going to wear a mask. So this time I may get arrested. Because they're just going to dig their hole further and further and further for the civil lawsuit. But they're dumb. So I want you guys to know, like, they don't know what they're doing. They don't follow the law. They don't read the law. They've never read the criminal rules of, or like the federal rules of criminal procedure. Maybe the judge has, but the judicial like assistants and stuff, they don't know what they're talking about. The cops definitely don't know what they're talking about. They do things based on policy. They were hired and then they were trained based on, this is how we do things, right? Like, this is our policy. So that's all they do. They don't know what the actual rules are, but just so you know, they're there. And once you learn them and familiarize yourself with them, you can hold them accountable, and they almost always break them. Okay, so that's the important part. Let's see. Alphonse Fagiolo, yeah, he's a good source for sure. The court's intimidation and wear down tactics work more when someone is by themselves. You have hundreds of people backing and supporting you. Is PayPal and Cash App still best places to support? Yes. And thank you for the super chat. Infinity split to 456. Your name just sounds like a rap bar, bro. But yeah, Cash App and PayPal. And yeah, I know I got people supporting you, but you'd be surprised how many people actually come at me sideways about it, bro. And then I know people are like, where's the content? Like, dude, I've just been going through a lot of stuff behind the scenes, man. And like, I'm trying to do what's right. But I will say this, I'm not trying to like get sympathy or something. I don't want you guys to misinterpret me. I'm fine, okay? Although there's 156 people in here and only 94 thumbs up. So maybe we're gonna take a few seconds break and see if you guys can actually smash the like button. I'm actually gonna step away for about 30 seconds and I'm gonna come back and see if we can get the likes up. It's unacceptable. We're too centered not to be getting thumbs up. I'll be back in a second. Oh, I love it. Okay, thank you guys. We jumped up 30, 35. I like it. 133, Illuminati confirmed. See guys, I knew you had it in you. We had just unpressed thumbs sitting out here. Anyway, thank you guys, because that really does help a little bit. Although we know here, like, this channel is censored into oblivion, you know. The fact we have 10.6 thousand subs is pretty crazy. Anyway, thanks for smashing the like button. Now we can continue. I wish I can give you 1,000 likes. Yeah, that's all good, bro. I think they only let you get one. Okay, we're at 143 now. So now we got 149 people, 143 likes up. That's more like it. I like it. Okay. Oh, and people have been asking about like the laptop streams and Rockfin. I'm working on it. Just so you guys know, the RV life, it has its pros and cons. Kai and I, we really do want to change the world, right? And I know it sounds crazy, and we just want to do our part, but we want to be able to go out and change the world. And we're gonna make babies. Rest assured, we're gonna make babies. And so right now we don't have babies. And so it's a good time where we can kind of go out into the world. And so the RV life has its pros and cons, and one of the big cons is internet. Is finding a consistent way to have really fast Wi-Fi. It's really difficult. And the ways I've found, and we're talking back and forth with this IT guy, we're trying to figure it out. They're really expensive. You know, it's really expensive to set it up. So yeah, I just haven't been able to do it. If anyone here like has any idea of how to do that, then let me know. But so back to Yellowstone. Or actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna still take a break. If people are dropping out, you're dropping out, man. It's not for you, bro. I'm gonna come read the donations though, because I don't want to leave you guys out. I'm so excited to see many Witsits out here dropping truths. Dude, we're gonna make babies, trust me. I got you an RV spot in the country by my house. If you come, bud, hit me up. All right, brother. Oh yeah, that's my homie. All right, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really enjoying Florida, bro. I'm really enjoying it. It's pretty incredible. Enjoy the world while making babies. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have plans to stop. I wish I had money so I could support more. You're good, Little Dancing Bear, you're good. You're good. By the way, Little Dancing Bear is like incredibly artistic. It's pretty amazing. She's also a very, very sweet person. I could feel her energy when I met her. So keep being a legend, Little Dancing Bear. That's all I need from you. All right, so Jeffrey Nelson for free speech. Thank you for the generous donation for free speech, Jeffrey. Much love. Sorry if I'm saying someone's full name and I shouldn't. Benjamin, thank you for the donation, for donating to your efforts. Thank you, brother. Thank you for the $20 Cash App. Much love, bro. All right, cool. So I think we're good. If there's PayPal, I'll have to check it on the phone. But I'll read all of them. Kendall Arnold sent a payment for $25 on Facebook. I forgot that was a thing, but thank you very much, Kendall. Much love. I'm glad that notification is on. Cool. I will read all the donations. Don't think I'm going to miss you. But I'm thinking about starting up like a free speech fund, right? And so it's going to go to the efforts of this because it's taking like a whole lot of my time, and it's just a whole lot of my resources, you know? Like I bought a printer and I bought all this other stuff to do this, and it's all good, but just so you know, that's kind of why I brought up the idea of the free speech fund. So thank you guys for the support. So anyway, so now we're dealing with the Yellowstone thing on the 7th. And I guess today is the day you're supposed to worship dead presidents that were Masonic psychopaths or whatever, but it'll be sent in tomorrow. So I have a bunch of stuff I'm sending in. It's no worries. It's just a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, but I want you guys to just rally behind it because it's a big deal, and also for numerous reasons. So if you know that everything that's going on for the last 2 years, thank you again, Kendall, has been crazy. Well, that's what I was talking about at Yellowstone. That's what's in the police report. That's what would be covered in the opinion of the Supreme Court. If it ever got there, they'll throw it out, but my civil lawsuit, you can't throw it out. So and they may not throw it out. Honestly, if they take me to trial and convict me, it's almost a good thing. I want you guys to realize that. So I want you to realize that I'm not being overly freaked out about it. It's almost a good thing because it just increases the damages that they're liable for enforcing an unconstitutional law. So, yeah, like, it's all good, you know. I don't want you guys to think I'm freaking out, but it is kind of a trip, right? Like defending yourself against federal prosecution. No matter what it's about, it's just kind of crazy. And I have a lot of people pulling for me to fail, you know. And it sucks, but it's kind of like human nature. You seem to see those more than all the people that are supporting you. And that's kind of like a gamma move, so, you know, that's not your fault, but it's just really annoying. Did you guys hear that? The squirrel's freaking out. There must have been something over here. Okay, anyway, so there's Yellowstone, Rushmore. You guys can see it. I was in there talking. I have the footage of both of the interactions with the cops, the one before the live stream at Rushmore on a GoPro. And then I have, dude, okay, like, there's so many things wrong with both of them as applied to me. But I'm going to get the whole law thrown out. I'm challenging it constitutionally. And when there's a constitutional challenge, you actually have to notify the Attorney General. So it's a whole ordeal. And then I'm sending it to governors. I mean, I'm gonna make people, you know, it's gonna go down. Are you in Florida? Yes. This is amazing. Randy and Brett and Dr. Graves are super helpful. That's right, dude. I have called into Randy Kelton's show 3 times. I was on his most recent show on Friday. So, yeah. Anyway, and what's so funny, they're probably watching my YouTube, but what I don't understand is, do you realize that if you're watching my YouTube, do you realize that you're enforcing laws that will result in the death of America? It will, and you're not, America's an idea, okay? But you're resulting in the death of freedom for your children. Do you not understand that? Are you so dense you don't realize what you're doing? Or is it that you're too far in, you've already chosen this profession, you've already tried to make friends with people, you don't seem to realize we have the power. You don't realize that? Well, they don't realize it, ladies and gentlemen. Now we have to force them to realize it, whether that be with judicial complaints of misconduct, with bar grievances, with federal criminal complaints, with criminal complaints of the federal agent that doesn't properly pursue the federal criminal complaint with probable cause, clearly stated and verifiable. That's how you win. You attack them. You don't sit back here and cry, okay? You don't stop going to national parks and talking. That's not how you win. That's not how you win. 141 watching, 162 thumbs up. Okay, fam. Yeah, we did good now. You're the real deal, kid. Oh, thank you, man. You're doing great, kid. So, what does this say? The audit YouTube channel. Dude seemed so far off base in his critique video about Witsit situation. Dude, you don't even, it's like, you don't even know. It's not, he did not accidentally like, dissect it, which is not a word I'm guessing, but he did it on purpose. He tactically took one, because the quote he took it out of, unless he probably, honestly, he just reads articles and doesn't read the actual case. He took one sentence out of it. Yo, it's like, it's so insane. It's so insane. The court case he took out of it is literally supporting that the law is unconstitutional. So, but in the sense that I was like, this is a national park, it's public. He's right in the sense that, you know, the whole national park's not necessarily automatically public forum. But it's not just limited to the discretion of some superintendent at each national park that decides where they're going to allot where you can freely speak. Okay? The dude saying the Earth's not flat, mate, look, here's the deal. We're not even talking about the Earth right now. You're welcome to join us. Keep your gamma comments to yourself, or you're probably going to get blocked. So, I'm glad we got that covered. I just see a donation, so I'm trying to read it. For all theaters, so many blessings. Thank you very much, Gavin, for the $30 Cash App. Much love, brother. Exactly wrong, Celine. Yeah, people will be tripping, bro. This is not even the point, right? This is like, Glober should agree. Glober should agree with me here. So, $10 from Global Witness. Thank you, man. Much love, brother. Whether you think that the Earth is what it provably and measurably is, or, you know, it's a bit hard to take in right now, and you still just think, oh, it doesn't really matter or whatever, you can't prove it one way or the other. That's not what we're talking about. You definitely can prove it, and it takes some people a day, some people 6 months, some people 18 months, some people 5 years. I know people that literally fought it for 5 years. It's everyone's own process. Be kind with them. You're not like better than someone because you found out about the Earth, okay? So, I will say that people shouldn't run around defending lies if they don't understand them, but this is the point. If you think there's a globe, you should still support my right to go out there and question the story about it being a globe. You should still support my right to say, no, we actually don't have to be scared of the air. No, we're not going to take 17,000 experimental interventions because we don't want to have AIDS. You know, like, you should support my right to say it. And that's all this is talking about. If anything, a good litmus test of where the First Amendment is polarizing speech that is very controversial, because that's the most important speech that is protected. Okay, but let me give you history here. This is the reason it's so important. Licensing schemes, prior restraint licensing schemes, basically the government saying, oh, we have to give you permission before you're allowed to talk, is the most egregious violation of the First Amendment, because the people that wrote it specifically explained why they wrote it. And it's because the monarch and the parliament got so abusive and corrupt with their licensing schemes, they wouldn't let anyone have free press to critique their government or their system. So no one could freely speak or communicate their grievances against the government because of licensing schemes in the monarch and the parliament. Then they go on to tell you everything that the king did that was super totalitarian. So the reason they wrote the First Amendment was to prevent the government from taking responsibility of whether or not you're allowed to speak and what you're allowed to say. That's why they wrote the First Amendment. In the Constitutional Convention, they specifically talk about why they wrote it. So the fact that in America you think that you're going to start implementing licensing schemes and then keep going and then make them really broad, and where it literally covers the whole First Amendment and officials just get to do whatever they want to if they don't like what you're saying, is so antithetical to the fundamental principle of the First Amendment, it's ridiculous. I can actually quote it for you. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll come over here to the historicity of this. Okay, historical relevance. Given the widespread use of prior restraints by the colonial British, prior restraint was expressly viewed as one of the most egregious forms of censorship by the founders. That's what I wrote, and then here's where the Supreme Court supports me. Just so you guys know, you'd be surprised, the Supreme Court's not near as corrupt as a lot of truthers try to say. They may be really corrupt behind the scenes. They do not publicly state things that are really corrupt very often. They try to be really smooth with it. They're very intelligent, and when you read the opinions, I have to admit, I'm like, that has a good argument. Oh, that's got logic. Oh, they're not dumb, and that's why the game is to get no one to challenge anything and to get everything thrown out before it gets that high up. That's it. The Supreme Court is not as bad as you may think, and it's because it can't be. It has to maintain that idea of integrity to the Constitution. So anyway, the core abuse against which the First Amendment was directed was the scheme of licensing laws implemented by the monarch and parliament to contain the evils of the printing press in the 16th and 17th century England. This is Thomas versus Chicago Park District, Supreme Court, 2002 case. Another one, under the English licensing scheme, which expired in 1695, all printing presses and printers were licensed, and nothing could be published without prior approval of the state or church authorities. The great struggle for liberty of the press was for the right to publish without a license what for a long time could be published only with a license. Okay? People need to understand this, because when you either understand it or don't talk about it, you know? The evils to be prevented were not the censorship of press merely, but any action of the government by means of which it might prevent such free and general discussion of public matters as seems absolutely essential to prepare the people for an intelligent exercise of their rights as citizens. Grosjean versus American Press Company. These are all Supreme Court. Liberty of the press, historically considered and taken up by the federal Constitution, has meant principally, although not exclusively, immunity from previous restraints or censorship. No, you have to follow the rules. You have to follow the rules. No, you don't. No, you don't. And the only reason everyone does follow the rules is because they're scared. They just watch Netflix. They just watch porn. They just eat genetically modified organisms. They live in their little bubble of fear. They're scared of the air. They want to, like, oh, daddy government, come give me some injections. That's why you talk on the internet. But no, it doesn't matter. We are in a much more serious part of our American history at this point. Either we're going to stand up for our freedom or we will not have it. And to be honest, if you don't stand up for your freedom, do you deserve it? Think about that one. You don't have rights if you don't exercise them, just like your muscles. The right isn't a thing until it's exercised. And even, not just about the government, natural law doesn't respect your rights until they're exercised, because they're not a physical reality until you exercise them. So you may have free speech. If you just run around being scared to say what you really mean, then you don't have free speech because you haven't exercised the right of free speech. You might have the Second Amendment protecting the Constitution, but if you don't know how to shoot a gun, then you don't own any guns, then you don't have the Second Amendment. It doesn't exist. Okay, so exercises or rights are like muscles. You only have them if you exercise them. That's it. That's the only time they exist. Okay, so the reason that they've gotten away with all this is because no one does anything. Okay, and so it's time that we take our power back is kind of the point here. Anyway, I don't want to read too much of this because I know it might be kind of dry for you guys, but just so you understand, I'm facially challenging it. Facial challenge, as distinguished from an as-applied challenge, seeks to invalidate a statute or regulation itself. It will be declared facially invalid, unconstitutional on its face. Does anyone want to bet on it? Can we get any of these Globers? Maybe Audit will bet on it. You want to bet on it, Audit Thought It? Why is Austin so confident? There's no way. There's no way this guy's going to go to the Supreme Court. There's no way he's going to change the law. Okay, bro. So, I'm reaching out to those people that kind of maybe like do believe in me, and if you want to support, then it'd be much appreciated. And some of you guys already are, and I appreciate it. I know I'm moving to Florida. Florida is amazing, man. It's amazing. So if you guys have any questions, maybe that's the best way, because I don't want to bore you guys with all the legalese. But it's really simple concepts, right? It's really simple. If the government can tell you that you have to go sit in the corner, then it's the same as you not being able to speak. Like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, did it make a sound? If you can't be heard, then you don't have free speech. It doesn't matter what you say. If it's in the middle of nowhere where no one is, that's the way the national parks are set up. Okay, so because after I got arrested at Yellowstone, we went to, I think, like Crater Lake. And when we went to the park, we're like, let's just, for kicks and giggles, let's see what it would be like to try to follow the rules, okay? So you go there, you can't find where you can go, you can't find it online. If you ever have it online, it shows one little small part, you can't figure out where that is in the national park. They're not labeled on any of the maps everywhere all over the national park. You have to go to the superintendent's office and ask them, or you have to call, get transferred, then ask, then write down what the places are, then go find where they are, then go all the way over there, then speak. That is completely antithetical to the First Amendment. You do not have free speech if you cannot spontaneously speak. So Yellowstone's a perfect example. We were trapped there. I saw these children that were like miserably being forced to put masks on in a national park. And I was like, dude, you don't have to do that. That's my spontaneous speech rights. And if I had to go run down the street and ask if I can say that, then come back and say, hey, can you come over here to this area so I can talk to you? And then bring them over there and say, you know you don't have to do that. Then that would never happen. You've effectively eliminated my ability to express myself. That is why you cannot have prior restraint applied to individuals. Do you not understand? Bro, what are you saying? I feel like I'm trying to explain it pretty simple. Mr. Squirrel finding a good spot to listen to Austin. Dude, squirrels love me, bro. They really do. But we have a cat because Kai has a cat. So, like, it's like we set stuff out for the squirrels and they come hang out. But then, like, Leo, if we let Leo out and don't realize there's squirrels there or something, like, straight for the squirrel, bro. And the squirrel takes off and it goes up and then they just start, like, screaming at Leo. It's really funny. You're way smarter than you get credit for. Oh, thanks, man. Take a ton of organic mosquito repellent. I lived there 20 years, still wondering why I moved above. Yeah, I forgot what we use. It's some like organic oil. It's really, wow. How do you not understand this basic knowledge, my dude? I just think that people they don't want me to be successful. Like the last thing that some of these people want is for like the crazy flat earther with the chipped tooth to like really do something significant. Like that's all it is. And I don't care. Free speech zones have never been held as constitutional in the United States, ever, not one time. They started popping up on universities over the last few years. Every time a student then goes and challenges a free speech area, guess what happens? Every time a free speech area is challenged, guess what happens? The university settles with them outside of court to get it to go away so it won't keep going all the way up to have a ruling. Then they change their free speech rules. Because it's not about just keeping their rules. They don't want to be in the news as the university that violated the First Amendment and changed the rule for everyone else. So they settle out. And you can look it up. It's never even made it all the way to a decision because they settle out. Because they know they're going to lose. Because you can't say, oh, you want to protest this place? Well, you need to go way over there to do it where no one's at. No one with the right mind would think that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole idea. Well, guess what? We're about to challenge the free speech zones in the national parks. And I'm just kind of like the crazy person that if the government was like, here's $30 million if you just chill, I'd be like, I'm good. Let's just go all the way. I don't want your money. And I have two cases, so maybe I'll take money in one of them, and then I'll be like, hey, because you give me $30 million, there's going to be flat earth billboards everywhere you look. We don't even know what's going on. I'll be like, oh, I guess I'll be quiet in this case since I've already won this case. Like, I don't care about money. So it's going to be very interesting. They're going to try to, but Centralia, like plants are really good at doing it. Why do you have such a beautiful jawline? Do you practice, what is mewing? I don't know, bro. You're not the kind of girl. Did you want to watch Ozark all episodes? No. All right. So anyway, yeah. I mean, I feel like I could talk forever about this subject. I kind of want to cover it with you guys. So it's simple, right? Like, you have to be able to speak. And I know a lot of people have gotten to the point where they're like, oh, it's not salvageable. It's time to just focus on ourselves and be self-sustainable. And I agree. It is time to be self-sustainable. It's time to build. It's time to build like supply chains. But no, we are supposed to go stand up to the beast. And I know a lot of you guys are like, you want to act like you're profound. I'm like, oh no, the move is to just run away. No, the move is to stand up to the beast. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. The creator clearly set this up. In 2000, it was declared facially unconstitutional. In 2010, this dude was trying to spread the gospel, declared facially invalid and unconstitutional. Then 2021. So it's just a little decade, okay? And now I've come around, and it's the most recent ruling has set it up that it needs to be argued against. I couldn't script it. And the more I read it, the creator clearly did it. Let me give you an example of how bad this is too. So this is just, if you challenge something on its face, it's not about you. So it's not individual case. It's not as applied to you. It's just the law itself is unconstitutional. But my as applied scenarios make it even worse for them. I have the freaking cop at Rushmore on tape saying that we're protecting you. Did you see those people? Well, the Supreme Court, unfortunately for him, has already ruled that if a crowd gets upset about the content of speech that someone is conveying, it's their obligation to defend that speaker from the crowd and let him keep speaking. He's like, oh, you arrested me? I'm in handcuffs. And you're talking about we're protecting you? We're protecting you. Did you see them? He admitted that on camera. That's just one of the million things. Okay, like the dude in Yellowstone says, no, you can't even do it in the free speech zone without a permit. Oh, that's not what the law says. Everything they did is wrong, right? The fact there's someone that their YouTube channel is only about this subject being this far off shows you it's just about a bias. It's a bias. No, they did so good, really, because whenever I release the footage of what happened beforehand, the people that have been talking a lot are going to sound really ridiculous. I shook the dude's hand, thanked him for his service. I said, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, bro. I just got to be able to freely speak. I have people die for it. You can't tell me I have to go where no one can hear me, bro. You know, like you're like free speech. I was like, free speech zone. What does that mean? Is it Nazi Germany over there? So it's pretty simple. It's not about what the government decides, whether or not it's public forum or not. And the Supreme Court agrees with me, bro. So it's important because, like, if we sit here and we just, like, fall asleep, we're going to turn around and, dude, literally, there are going to be free speech zones in every city. That's already the way it is in, like, Europe, right? Like, there are, like, speaker corners and areas that you can go speak. Implicit in that is that you can't speak outside of it. So I was arrested in Yellowstone at a gas station, a service station. Now, it's not like a privately owned gas station. This is all funded by the public, okay? The government built the gas station because we paid for it. Austin, you have been offered a settlement to walk away. You will be offered many in the future while on your path. Austin, you haven't been offered. Yeah, I'm not really the kind of guy to take settlement, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, so we were at a gas station, and that's where we got arrested. It's outside of the free speech area. Demonstration outside of a designated area. They had to change it from free speech area because it sounds so bad. Anyway, now they call them First Amendment areas, though. And if you look on Yellowstone's map for the free speech areas, one of the places that's a free speech area is a gas station. So can you please tell me how it is that, first of all, you can't even tell. It just has like a little picture, an animated picture, and it has like a street. You can't tell. It just says gas station, has a star beside it. I was at a gas station. So can you tell me how one gas station is public forum and the other one's not? There is no answer. There's no answer. Am I blocked? Well, I would guess not since I'm reading your comment. So anyway, the point is, that's the problem with it, right? Dude, the superintendent isn't Adolf Hitler and doesn't get to sit back and be like, well, I'll let them talk over there. I'll let them talk over there. It's arbitrarily through the pure discretion of their own opinion. That's how it works. So, you know, it's pretty intense. And like, you know, if I have to fly out there, that's going to be really expensive, and it's going to be a whole ordeal where I fight wearing a mask, and I'm going to have to stay somewhere, and then I'm going to have to fly back, and I'm getting married on the 18th. So I'm not tripping about it because I know the creator's in control, but it's drained me monetarily because it's consumed so much of my time. I haven't been making any content or anything like that, and it's kind of drained my funds. But, you know, it's all good, bro. It's all good. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys an update. Close. I think that we don't have much longer before my stuff dies anyway. So yeah, there you go. I'll just chat up with you guys. I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. So I'll be sending in a lot of stuff, and once I start to do it, or say once I get them to throw the case out or whatever happens, then I'll go more in detail with you guys so you can see it. Free speech zone started after 9/11 under the Patriot Act authorization. It was widely implemented to shield anti-war and anti-George W. Bush administration protests. Yeah, for sure, the Patriot Act changed everything. I mean, there are Supreme Court rulings where they even say, we need to reconsider everything because of the 9/11. What? We need to reconsider free speech because still buildings defied physics? Because the government had to burn down some buildings with papers in it? No. But yeah, you're right, that's where it really got bad. But yo, free speech zones are so ridiculously unconstitutional that you have to almost be retarded to not understand why they're unconstitutional. Now, this is the thing, right? And I like to be honest, right? So in national parks, I understand that there is a government interest to keep it like peaceful in certain areas, right? Yellowstone has 2 million acres. If you can just put 1 star on a map over here and 1 star over there and be like, all the 2,200,000 other acres that are left, you can't speak in, that's not constitutional, okay? Everywhere that's publicly accessible in Yellowstone, where they have stores and restaurants and gas stations and sidewalks and everything's publicly accessible, giant parking lots, that's where everyone goes, that is public forum because that's where everyone goes to have public discourse, right? It's very simple stuff. Very simple stuff, bro. And then I hope you guys understand the part of how the Supreme Court, first the rule, I'll do it like this, okay? First the rule said nobody can speak in a national park if they're doing a demonstration. And again, the definition is demonstrations, picketing, speech-making, marching, holding vigils, or religious services, and all other like forms of conduct that involve the communication or expression of views or grievances engaged in by one or more persons, the conduct of which is reasonably likely to attract a crowd or onlookers. Okay, so basically anything. And I used to say that anybody, you can't speak at all unless you get a permit, and then they have to go to the First Amendment area. The Supreme Court said that's not constitutional, dude. You can't tell individuals they need permits to freely speak because the only reason it's logically justified for groups is because they present security threats when you have tons of people, and they can't spontaneously speak anyway because they have to plan for everyone to meet there and set up dates. So permit's just one more step, but it still needs to be very quickly. You can't take too long to respond. But when it comes to individuals, you cannot do that. Individuals have the right to spontaneous speech, and they do have the ability to do that, unlike groups. And they also do not present some threat to the national park, a security threat where it needs you to know days in advance. So they said they then made an individual exemption to the rule as long as they're in the free speech areas. Okay, just so you understand that. Let me come up here. Okay. So these are some of the problems that are with it, right? Speech making is one of the things I have. The term speech making is a subjective standard lacking legal precedent that is dependent on the individual discretion and application of the official. For example, and I give hypotheticals. If an individual is telling a story and people begin to gather around to listen, applying the ambiguity of the regulation as is, that could be considered speech making. The official would be forced to determine if the individual's story contained content captivating enough to attract a crowd. To make such decisions would require a content-based determination, allowing the official to censor the speech based on its substance. These things cannot be rebutted. If an individual began to live stream to a social media platform on a mobile device, addressing the online audience could be considered speech making. Again, in order to properly determine the probability that the speech was reasonably likely to attract a crowd, the official would be required to assess the content of the speech. Content-based restraints are unconstitutional for obvious reasons. Shalom, much love, fam. Thank you, brother. Shout out Marlo, my boy be dropping bangers. Go check out Marlo Eugene on YouTube. One Faith family, we are on Weld County. I'm not actually sure what that means, but thank you for the support. There's something wrong with all of it, right? But like, okay. Onlookers, because I'm pointing out these are too broad of terms, right? The term onlookers is once again an overly broad subjective standard of determination implying any expressive activity that may lead to others simply watching from a distance can be deemed a demonstration. The phrase reasonably likely to attract onlookers is not an objective nor definite standard, as the term onlookers allows an official to discriminate against any type of expression simply by claiming people were watching. Please feel free to rebut that. Audit the audit. Can you rebut that for me, buddy? I don't think so. I don't think you can. This one's even worse, yeah. This one's even worse. Casual park by visitors or tourists. So casual use is typically understood as temporary use, implying the regulation enforces some type of unspecified time period that dictates expressive activity. In addition, by clarifying this term does not include casual park use by visitors or tourists that is not reasonably likely to attract a crowd or onlookers, it is necessarily implied that the rule does apply to casual park use by visitors or tourists. Thus, the regulation dictates that casual park use by an individual is subject to prohibition outside of a designated area with likelihood to attract a crowd or onlookers as the key determining factor. This is overly broad and not tenable. For example, if an individual's notoriety attracted a crowd of onlookers applying the regulation as is, that individual could be subject to confinement in designated areas based on presence alone. You can't rebut these, bro. If someone is wearing an expressive article of clothing, it can be deemed reasonably likely to attract onlookers and prohibited. This would require the official to make a content-based determination as to what reactions the content may evoke. Since the regulation already defines prohibited behavior as forms of conduct reasonably likely to attract a crowd or onlookers, the only clarity obtained by this addition is that casual park use of a visitor or a tourist is, in fact, subject to restraints. I hope we don't die here. We're still good. According to NPS, this was added to exclude visitors who merely have tattoos or are wearing baseball caps, t-shirts, or other articles of clothing that convey a message, or visitors whose vehicle merely display bumper stickers. As it currently reads, however, this clarification simply places the burden of determining if the expressive message is reasonably likely to attract a crowd on the official. Thus, the official's discretion would almost assuredly be confined to a content-based determination. It certainly allows for it. So these are the kind of stuff that I've been coming up with. So I know I'm maybe kind of confident and it annoys people, but America Silver Patriot, thank you again for the super chat, bro. I just don't see, I mean, if you guys are following, I know it's just kind of boring, and it's even boring to read it. I don't want to keep reading them anyway because they don't need to know all of my arguments. But it doesn't matter because the court has to rule on them. The court has to rule on them. And what you need to understand is we can all do stuff like this, and this is why I'm trying to really get the word out there. They're not going to want to deal with a constitutional challenge because they have to rule on each specified point you make. And if they change it, then it changes the law for everyone in the country, for all national parks. No one wants to be the national park that got the regulation changed. No one wants to be the officer that got the regulation changed. No one wants to be the judge with all the publicity that had to change it. No one wants to deal with it. No one. So just make them back off of you. Come at them. Come at them. Criminal complaints. Whatever you got to do, bro. If they're committing crimes, that's outside of the scope of their authority. So, and I'm not just going to start talking about this all the time. I may do like a couple of shows a week where we just talk about like stuff like this. But I think it's important. And I'm just now learning. I'm no way an expert at all. I'm not saying that. You guys do know I am a very confident person, though. So I'm going to come off like that probably till I die, to be fair. My boy Frank, thank you very much for the $40 super chat. You the man, bro. Be blessed, bro. Thank you, brother. You guys are awesome. Thank you. All right, so my stuff is gonna die. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, very important, man. And it seems like you got it, bro. Yeah, I'm getting there. It's gonna be pretty crazy. And the part I really want you guys to realize is, I'm gonna say it again, the part that gets really crazy in my mind is if they have to change the law, that means that the Supreme Court's gonna have to rule on it. It's going to talk about what I was saying. That means if I change the law, it'll say, and I'm not a vain person as much as people may want to think, but this is what it would say. It would say, you know, United States versus Witsit. then they'll rule it, and it's going to explain what I was saying in the very first paragraph before the judges give their opinion. Austin Witsit was at Mount Rushmore talking about how the earth is actually flat, not moving, and the moon landing's fake. Now, it doesn't go in detail about it, but it's still going to say what it was about. That's pretty epic. That's pretty epic, because free speech laws are like so epic, right? Like, it's such a big deal. Flat earther challenges free speech areas getting the law thrown out for 391 national parks. You can't not cover the story because I'm a flat earther. It's too big of a deal. It's too big of a deal. The other one is, it would say Witsit was at a gas station in Yellowstone telling people that the government doesn't have the right to give us lockdowns, speaking out against mask mandates, etc. It's going to be in the first paragraph. So, I mean, that's pretty epic. And just so you know, the reason I know the creator did it is, for one, the creator does everything. When you step out in faith and allow him to, and you're not going to understand it. And I was like low-key kind of being a gamma, I'm not gonna lie. In my own mind, I'm like, why am I keep getting in trouble, bro? Like, what? Like, I sold all my stuff, I'm doing all this, and now I feel like such a little gamma for even thinking like that for a second, because now I'm like, dude, I'm getting married to like a beautiful girl that's like gets me on so many levels. It's insane, and like we can make music together, and we're just like click like really good, and like we have an RV, and I'm in Florida right now, and we can go where we want to, and I'm like super free. And now I see this case is actually clearly setting me up because he wants to use me for something. So like, I do want to encourage anyone, like, as cliche as it seems, or you may have heard it too many times, like, you really don't understand what's going on in the moment. And when you try to jump the gun and like, I wouldn't say I never questioned the creator, but like, I was just frustrated. You know what I'm saying? And what I found out is like, yo, he knows so much more. He knows so much more. And then I started looking at this, and it's like, you couldn't even script it, bro. You couldn't script it. He did it. I'm letting you guys know that he did it. I don't know what's going to come of it exactly, but like, he's doing it. He's doing it. And they're creating their worst enemy. They're creating their worst enemy right now, because I am going to change the game any way I can once I equip myself with this knowledge. They've made me go learn it. They've made me learn it. They made me learn how to write legal documents. They've made me learn how to send in grievances and to contact clerks and everything to do. They've got me listening to Rule of Law Radio, and they've got me like literally just like 47 windows open at all times. They've made me do this, and I now understand the creator wants to use me in this field, and it's probably to help other people, like other people, and not charging them money. Like, someone's like, dude, I have all this going on. I want to just be able to help them out. I want to be able to help them out. And not like a lawyer be like, oh, give me $500. Oh, give me $500 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to create a database where you can go to your state, you can find your laws, you can find your tax, you can find the forms, just you put your name in there. Here, oh, federal, here you go. Oh, free speech, here you go. I want to have a huge database, which will cost a lot of money probably to put up, but like, where we take our power back. It's not like it's about me or something like that. The idea of it being really famous, actually, I don't like that, but like, I think that this is how we take our power back. It's been right in front of us the whole time. You can take for one, you don't have to take your power back, because the only way that you don't have your power is that you conceded it. And so if you know that you have power, and you know that the creator gives you power, and you're not scared of these psychopaths and these like Satanists and whatever, like, then you're fine. You have your power. That's true. But I'm saying, like, this is how we make them fall back. Like, this is how we throw a left jab and follow with an uppercut or a hook at Satan. Right? Like, as a whole, like the opposition, like the system that represents Satan, right? Like, because the system is an empty entity clearly run by the opponent, the opposition. Hasatan. Well, it's like a synonym with U.S. government. But not that we have to burn it to the ground, because like, that's there actually for our protection. You know how like in Romans, a lot of people misunderstand it, like you have to obey everything that it says. It's like, no, first of all, the Torah is the thing that you obey. So anything that disagrees with the Torah, you don't have to ever follow that. It's automatically wrong. And so for anyone to insinuate anything other than that is just ridiculous. But it was a specific letter written by Paul in response to Romans, specifically to their question, specifically to their situation, about how it may seem like the people above you are corrupt, but just trust the Creator. Actually, those people are there to help you. Now, that's there for your benefit. What's so funny is it's the same way here. You don't have to follow all their stupid unconstitutional rules and laws. No one thinks that. And it's not really about unconstitutional, right? It's not biblical, scriptural. But the point is, this is actually here to help us. If this wasn't here, if I couldn't file motions to dismiss for failure to state a cause of action, motion to dismiss for a lack of subject matter jurisdiction, motion to dismiss for a lack of personal jurisdiction, if I couldn't challenge something for being facially unconstitutional, facially invalid, if I couldn't petition for declaratory judgment, if I couldn't file criminal complaints and then hold them accountable with the criminal complaints and judicial misconduct complaints and etc., then I'd be screwed. Because they get to throw me over there in the corner. If I don't listen, they get to arrest me, throw a mask on me, force me to wear a mask again under threat of like being arrested with people with their hands on their guns, and they'd be able to get away with all of it. So like the actual system is not your enemy. And I hope you understand what I'm saying. Owen Benjamin talks about that a lot too, with like how he gets his stuff sent to him in the mail. Well, that's how you send it off. USPS is one of the few things that we really need to hold on to. That's how I just now sent a federal judicial misconduct complaint. And that's right, if you're watching, you just get prepared. It will be there tomorrow. A federal judicial complaint of misconduct against a federal magistrate judge. And it's objective. It's objective. It's not like it's frivolous. Now, they're going to freak out, but what people don't know, they're like, oh, they're not going to listen to that complaint. They have to report it to their insurance, and you can't be a judge or an attorney without insurance. And as you get complaints, your insurance goes up until they drop you. So this is how you get your power back. They're gonna be like, dang, maybe I shouldn't have abused Austin and told the people to go out there with guns and make him wear a mask just because I assume he won't figure out how to hold me accountable. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Because now I have judicial complaint, and then I'll have criminal complaints, and all of my staff also has criminal complaints coming at them on an individual basis. And then the FBI agent tried to cover it up for us, which is why we don't think we ever have to be accountable. But then he filed criminal complaints against the federal agent. And then it kept going up. And now he's talking to district attorneys and attorney generals, and oh my goodness, we got to do something. This is how you win. This is how you win. Inaction's how you lose. That's it. And like, it only takes a few people. It took one person out of 29 million to remove the mask mandate. One person, bro. One person. This law's been changed before. It took one person. And they just got even worse. Now people are so distracted, no one goes to national parks to even talk anymore. They just get away with it. They'll get away with it. So some crazy stuff is happening. I want to let you guys know my battery's about to die though. So thank you guys for kicking it. I think we've got all the donations, but it's much appreciated. You guys are the best. I think I might do like some morning streams here because I really like this area. It's pretty cool. So I might do morning streams and chat it up with you. Chop it up with you, you know what I'm saying? Panda, thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Much love. Challenger jurisdictions, yeah, for sure. But, and that's the move to go for. Check out Alphonse, check out Randy Kelton, and that is the best move. Like when it comes to most things, I want to change the law, so I'm changing the law. Now I may challenge their subject matter jurisdiction. It's unconstitutional on its face. How can you have subject matter jurisdiction? You don't have the jurisdiction to cover subject matter that's unconstitutional. But yeah, I mean the first move is to get it thrown out, and then it's to just bow. Then the game really starts. Once it gets thrown out or I get convicted, either way, then the game really starts. And if that judge stamps that I'm convicted after he hears my constitutional challenge, dude, his career may be over. And so the whole game is not like letting them scare you, and maintain your confidence and be bold, certainly if you know the Creator is with you. So there you go. I love you guys. Let me check this. We got a little bit longer. Let me see if I have another charger. Learn the legalese, sort of and sort of not. Yeah, like I really do feel like the Creator's showing me to help people out with this, but I'm still in the learning process quite a bit, you know. But you want to learn a lot of what the words mean, but you don't want to overdo it. Just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna walk and see if I can get another charger. So I'll be back in like 2 minutes. But don't you worry. We'll play. Actually, Marlo, I'm gonna play some of your music, bro. If you're still here, I don't know, but I'm gonna play some Marlo. Marlo be bumping, bro. Dun-dun-dun. Dude, I'm behind. You just dropped so much music, bro. Dang. I don't know which one to play. I feel like a bum. I should know these were out. I'll be right back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just ran back here. I didn't want them to play something I couldn't. Better than veteran, don't want to let them in. Ain't got a toy but to let them in. They a sleep sedative. Alright, I don't know if the charger's even charged. I think we're donezos, ladies and gentlemen. Alright. So anyway, that beats fire, by the way. Alright, I love you guys. Sorry, I thought that charger might work. It doesn't. But anyway, in conclusion, yeah, we're going to take it straight to the system. It's getting crazy. And it should be very exciting. I'll keep you guys updated because it's just now about to go down. I know I've been MIA. I've had a lot of stuff going on. I've been working on this a lot behind the scenes. And I just trust the creator. I know he'll provide financially and stuff. So yeah, you know, I basically ran through all my funds over time with all the bills while doing this, but it's all good, you know. Free speech fund. Free speech fund. Just if you want to support this fight, do it. If you don't, it's okay, brother. Let's get a track going starring Frank, Logic, and Witsit. Let's do it, bro. I'm down to start making music now. I've been really busy, man. This has consumed a lot of my time. You're a legend, Woods. Thank you, man. Who is this playing? Marlo Eugene. Marlo Eugene. M-A-R-L-O-E-U-G-E-N-E. All right, thank you guys for hanging out. I think I might do like pretty frequent morning streams like this where I just come out and chat with you guys on camera. And then I'll try and figure out the internet. If anyone's like hasn't experienced the best way to get like really reliable, fast internet consistently in the RV, let me know. The things I've seen, you have to do a bunch of little stuff behind the scenes and it's really expensive. I can't afford it, you know. But we'll figure it out, because hopefully we can get the YouTube streams coming in too, and it should be cool. That beat was so hard. I just wanted to start rapping. I was out of breath. All right, well, I thought in my mind, when I got over there, I'm like, oh, dude, they'll play another song after this, or they'll play something that'll get me struck, you know. Hurry and have children with that woman. Okay, bro. Okay. Will do. So I love you guys. Thanks for kicking it. And yeah, my court date's on the 7th. I'll let you guys know what's going on. I'm filing a bunch of paperwork, so I'll be really busy the rest of the day. So I'm gonna get it all sent first thing in the morning. So yeah, there's the update. I'll have my tooth fixed soon. So for all the Globers that love to talk about my tooth so much, it's gonna really, you need to really live it up. You need to really live it up right now. About how the earth must be a ball because Austin has a chipped tooth, and somehow physics must go out the window. This guy has a chipped tooth, so there's no other way around it. Yeah, so there you go. Cool, man. And then the second court date for Mount Rushmore is on my birthday. They may both get thrown out, then it won't be over, but it'll be much more relaxed, and I'll get you guys involved. And I would really like to get to where I can share my screen and show you the documents, show you some stuff, so we can start to equip ourselves with knowledge. I feel like I've been put in this position to fight the beast system, but more so to show other people that it's possible, and not to be scared of the federal government just because it's the federal government. And yeah, they have a 99% prosecution rate. You know why? Because like 95% of people just plea out, and that's considered a successful prosecution. It's because people are scared, and it's because people talk to them about how they should be scared. And I'm not scared, and I encourage you not to be scared. And I think that once you see that I can do it by myself, 2 federal cases, then maybe you'll be a little more confident in yourself, and we'll start to realize that this stuff does work. And I think the best way to shut up the naysayers is to just prove it and to just do it. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Much love to you, Austin. Keep crushing, brother. Thank you very much, Holly. Holly Berry, one of the best names ever. All right, so I'm gonna catch up with you guys on the flip side, like a coin toss. Shout out to my boy Frank. I won't announce it quite yet, bro. But Critical Inception, dude, you're gonna have to add the Witsit Supreme case to your little list you sent me of First Amendment cases. Austin, later, bro. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Yeah, so I love you guys. Thanks for kicking it. I'll try to give you guys some more update on what's going on, but just if you want to support, it's much appreciated. The support doesn't have to be monetary, although it is greatly appreciated if it is. Just if you think you have some information that could help or something like that, any ideas, let me know. And that's at witsit@protonmail.com, which is packed full of emails, but I'll try to get to it. I'm going to try to get to all my messages once I kind of get this behind me. I've just been really, really busy. I'm sorry if I've missed you. My text messages are literally, I just don't want you guys to see all the names in them, but just to prove it, like, all that's in here is blue messages. Like, that's all that's in here. So, I'm sorry. You know, it is what it is. Like, it's nothing against anyone in particular. I've just been really consumed with this, and I want to do what the creator wants me to do, and I feel like there's a big responsibility with the position he's put me in. Cool. So, 196 thumbs up. I like it. Smash the thumbs up. Smash the Rogans. I love you guys, and I will catch up with you later, probably tomorrow, but I guess it's possible I could do a stream. I'm just going to be really busy. If you have any questions, hit me up. Any advice, hit me up. And then we're going to start a free speech fund, because I want to really, really make this where we take it to the government. We make it where there's a Supreme Court precedent on the record that free speech zones are unconstitutional and not allowed. And I don't care how much money they offer me. They're going to have to rule on it, or they're going to have to be so corrupt they throw it out on the record. And then it goes to the appeals, and, you know, they're scared of the appellate courts above them. Use the politics against them. Use their corruption against them. Inform yourself, and then you will find out very soon you do have the power. These people are scared of you, but only when you know what you're doing. So there's that. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So smart people don't care what dumb people think. Informed people don't care what ignorant people think. Strong people don't care what weak people think. Strong believers don't care what atheists think, right? Find yourself founded in truth. Represent the truth. Be bold for that. You're always going to have people that are living in fear from the outside that want to bring you down, whether it's because of envy or actual just self-projection of their own fears. It's okay. Try to be considerate to those people as much as possible. Be patient. Sometimes I think that we're put in those situations around those people because the creator's really like chiseling us out to be more patient and humble, and I'm having to work on that too. Like when I go do activism, I want to clap back on someone a million miles an hour, and maybe we need to try to always remember we've been in a position where we were ignorant before, and don't let the other people that talk get to you. More so evolve to the point where you can look at them like you almost feel bad for them, you have empathy for them, instead of like, you know, giving it too much power, because that's the only power it has is what you give it. Hope that made sense. So I love you guys. Keep speaking truth. I'm gonna catch up with you on the flip side. Peace out.